Welcome everyone to another amazing live stream here, developing our Linux distribution, our increasingly amazing AAA Linux distribution live here on this channel. Hopefully cool stuff for you today here on the more mainstream channel, because our more live channel where we usually do this stuff is currently more promoted by YouTube, and I can't afford to upset the YouTube algorithm. As the title says, imagine you develop an amazing Linux distribution, everyone is using it wrong. Of course, a little bit of a joke and running gag towards Steve Jobs. You are obviously holding your phone wrong. Of course, no, you're not using our Linux distribution wrong. Just a lot of people who download T2, our increasingly amazing Linux distribution, they do just different things, right? They're not using it wrong, just a bit fun. Case in point, as a recurring viewer now, we cross-compile 35 build configurations, and cross-compile meaning like decades ago we built everything natively, like x86 on an AMD Athlon and PowerPC on an iBook, and now to support all architectures and Itanium we cross-compile everything. And that means that when other people, like I basically don't native build like cool ISOs anymore, but other people do, right? And obviously due to even our own, the only constant is change, and with that regressions, everything builds for me and other people build it differently, so it fails differently for them. For example, as we rearranged so much, also recently switched, like previously we recompressed everything decades ago to BSIP2, when 20 years ago BSIP2 was state of the art. Some years ago, like 5 or so years ago, we switched to set standard because set standard is no state of the art. And now we did away recently, as last year, with this recompression. Historically, we've done that so people loading our Linux over analog V90 modems or later DSL 20 years ago, that they had the least download and the fastest download. And it doesn't make sense anymore, right? The problem with that is it still would work like it worked in this day and age. The only thing is increasingly using vintage and retro things like O2, Octane and Ultraslug and stuff. The recompression is annoying, right? If you download the latest and greatest stuff from last night, it's not yet on our mirror, not always, or sometimes up and done there, that's not on our mirrors or other stuff, then your precious SGIO2, even if you have the highest end model, previous video was 400 megahertz and out of order, is it out of order, speculative executing CPU, even that set standard takes too long, right? You don't want to, like if you want to emerge Lua and build it in 6 minutes on your MIP64, you don't want to wait 6 minutes for the recompression first, right? So let's merge that. So amazing new users. I said it before, really nice to see that we have a growing audience again. Maybe it's time, maybe it's like the title thumbnail of this video from a Linux talk from soon, like time flies, right? Like 20 years ago when Linux developers still went to Linux days and stuff. Amazing times. Also YouTube is whining about the bitrate. So yeah, a real thumbnail from when we still went to conferences, like when Linux conferences were still a thing. So let's see, let's apply that. So viewers, like users who use T2 differently, wrong. Obviously, it's spelling it differently wrong for me. Let's apply the patch and then do some more stuff. The next thing is, like, it's of course, we only, like, similar to Apple and Microsoft, you only get reports for what you're not testing, right? And I didn't test live CD, so the next thing we have more stuff to do. So basically, I give you the summary, like what's going on in Linux distribution land, and such kind of things are going on. I copied that here, so that would be turret minimal native also. And so what that does is simply adding those compressors here. However, basically we need to build, I also need to review that a little bit. I actually need to review that a little bit more. Okay, as cons. Okay, I will not commit everything in one. Obviously, I can't commit. Okay, this is just that also. Okay, so there still is some. I can't just commit that, right? That is something for another day. Everything, like even a review, takes time. You can also not blindly apply everything because enabling that, so it's intentionally disabled because it doesn't cross-compile cleanly. So if I would just commit that, it would break our all cross builds, so a little bit more work is further needed. Actually, I mean, okay, Groff, we could actually, interesting image, okay. So yeah, it's a little bit more than compressors. Setup tools, cargo. So setup tools is native cargo. We had, cargo is, why is cargo not in stage 2? Yeah, some of the stuff actually, it's a little bit more than compressors. So it's basically everything that you may need for, why is add needed? Does something need add? Add is just an editor, right? Why would that, do we build it by default? But case in point, like maintaining software, maintaining your product takes time, even if you get patches. Minimal, config minimal. We really build add by default? Seriously? So apparently something needs add to build? Even I didn't quite, I mean, I enabled it probably decades ago, but even I forgot about that. Don't instantly see something here. That's interesting. Do we have a comment in? Let's see if we live stream everything. Somehow this is really, something really needs add to build. Okay. Don't really, I probably should test it. So test and enable more for native sandbox builds, and do we really need add to Bootstrap? Hard to believe, but maybe it's like, is it there and they enable it? It's probably. So what's so Groff? So ini-h is, do we commit that? So that is a little bit, okay, I will probably, so I need to manually review this and look, I don't really want that for different reasons like that. So Rust, this is interesting that we, so that is a native, I mean, so this is a native, okay, actually we could probably, so that's probably legit. So if we bootstrap Rust, so that is a cross compiler, and so that's a cross compiler, yeah, so it's actually indeed valid, yeah. If we build natively, we need a native Rust here, so it's probably fine. We also need cargo. I don't quite, why is cargo not enabled there? That is so bizarre. Maybe it it probably auto enables. Probably it works like, I just need to check if, what's this? So yeah, this probably just works accidentally. Or by design, actually not really that accidentally, but rather by design. So okay, but it's anyway legit. So by, our system enables all packages for this is a this is a cross compile stage. So everything, if we cross, like everything gets auto enabled for cross, so that is where probably how this works. So this kind of stuff, so Python, it's also kind of legit, but the thing is I don't want to commit everything in one thing, not to mess everything together. And so I mostly want to commit the archiver. So all the archivers, what this does is all the archivers, we need them in the toolchain stage, right? So that is totally legit. I just didn't build it like that. They just built it differently. Decades ago, I've built natively, of course, but now that we have all cross, I just didn't build it like this, right? So also that is all legit. So xset. Yeah, this I also, the reason is I don't want this in stage 4. So okay, this is building this. I would rather put that in the cross stage. So if I would rather go back and review that, and if it's really needed, I do it slightly differently. Because in general, I don't want stuff in random stages, and like it's then better also for parallel, like more structured and parallel build what's upcoming, to have it all in one stage and like not fill random stages. The stages is like we don't really need that many, right? We basically only need 0 tool chain, one cross, yeah, kind of sorter, and 5 is native. So like basically all the stages in between we don't really need. It's just like we've chosen 10, we only need basically 4 or so, and the rest is like empty. So I don't want to fill this empty stuff. Like who knows for what we need it. It's not productive to put the random stuff. So yeah, this might be, not really sure, maybe for UDEV. Maybe this is a hack of it's needed earlier, so maybe for UDEV, but like the random stuff I rather review and then later like Meson the same. Actually, that's interesting. So yeah, this also usually groups the stuff, right? One topic at a time, and then we can also better revert in case this breaks something or so. This is why. I could also not revert that and not commit this, but I rather keep this tree clean. This is why I rather... There are always multiple ways to do that. And I'm not sure if I work on this native thing. I just want to commit the majority, that the majority of the stuff is already in. So Growth is... Okay, this is just forcing that on. So previously this was if we cross-build, we need, so... right, okay, this is, yeah, because Growth now needs itself, yeah. So this is also totally legit, right? It's basically, I've already done that. It worked for me, but basically what I've done, like enabling, like I worked on this some months ago, I remember that from the last Growth update. But basically even I sometimes, like it works, I commit stuff, it works for me, good enough. And then people build it differently, like you're building it wrong, like you're building it differently. Yeah, totally legit. What's iRust? Yeah, so cargo, I probably what was also UDEV, actually UDEV is interesting. So this is probably to have it early. The question is, yeah, probably stuff depends on it and needs it early. Yeah, we probably can leave it like this. Like this is too hacky. I've seen it already. Like this at stage cross and stuff. It's basically, this is a small things. It would be ideal to sort it now, but I would need to test build this and see what happens and stuff. This is just good maintenance practice, right? Until like either 2 independent people reviewed, or I'm also like, I mean, sure, this is a Discord. I said it before. I accept everything, whatever people send it in, right? And this is like this came randomly through Discord, which is also amazing these days. Patches by Discord, email, web and stuff, or just made a floppy. And TFS, did I revert that? Probably I reverted that, right? And TFS, so that are compressors, so this is probably it. Let's do copyright patching, and then basically this is all archivers, and we can just group this by enable compressors for always enable compressors for cross stage, even for native bootstraps. No, because that is new. Previously we didn't need that. Now we need that. So as you see, it's good style, right? Always group the stuff by topic. So yeah, then also the Rust stuff. I could show this. Seen this right? So Rust is there. Always enable Rust C and cargo. Cross comparison cargo. native bootstrap like OS cross compiler there. udev, do we commit udev? I mean, it builds cross builds, so I mean, we this should not cause a regression. So this is text proc, so unless we wouldn't cross bootstrap it. How early do we need growth? Yeah, we probably need it early. Always build a native toolchain growth for and then, I mean, I've not seen it. This is also like in a proper bug report in patch, you would include the error, like always includes the error, because I don't know what the error was now. And also for the history, more ideal would be for the commit history to like enable UTF here to fix whatever, but I mean, it could be everything from E2FS procs, like nowadays, like everything links to UDEF or system unit. So, so always cross compile UDEF is early to make it available. A step for other packages too. Also always cross compile UDEF to make it. But do we have audio? Do we have no drop frames? So yeah, that is some stuff. That is like basically that. Here then our amazing Discord community. Don't delay. Ah shit! I should actually have given Kuluk credit. Ah, sorry, forgot this. Usually I do. Sorry. There you go. And then we have more, like I wouldn't like live stream, like basically welcome to our open source development here. We have more, another user maybe on Git. Let's hope it doesn't show you some other random stuff again. Somewhere I saw an email scrolling by. Was it this one? I don't... Ah, yeah, it was this. So I saw this scrolling by email earlier today. And so again, as the title says, people build it differently. So this is... although I'm not sure why this is failing. But there's also a pattern, right? So many changes, so many regressions, so many dependencies. And although I do it for 25 years with a growing community and hundreds of developers, if not thousands over the last 25 years, stuff is still failing. You can't test, build, and patch enough. Not really sure why precisely is this failing, but that's not the point. Don't understand error logs. See what causes on decline letter 2. No idea. But my point is, I want to do something. So always, is it the who log? Like always always includes the who log, because with log, although this log snippets are helpful, they're not complete, right? For example, I'm not even sure which libc they are using. Quick building. So I've basically. Like here, it's a pretty good bug report, yet still not enough, right? I can't answer that. I mean, it builds for me, so it could be like Musel or whatnot, like why dub2 is not there, call to undeclared function dub2, I've no idea. But what I wanted to fix today, which is a bigger problem here, dub2 of invalid what? Grab dub2 invalid option dot what? What do I do? Grab dub2 Okay, there is some. Yeah, whatever. However, so yeah, we will deal with that another day, but I noticed something else, which I kind of had on my to-do, which is I want to do it now. So just because someone opens a random bug report, it's not that I'm randomly starting work. However, the thing is here, the recurring theme is, if you offer options, they need to also somewhat work. And the problem with T2, I said it before, it was 10 years on minimal core package maintenance. Because I didn't believe, for 10 years I used macOS and didn't believe in the Linux desktop. Even I, after 20 years of Linux, didn't believe in the use of Linux desktop anymore, which changed now because macOS, like, congratulations Apple, macOS is now so buggy that I don't want to use it anymore. Also expensive, but, and closed Apple Silicon. But case in point is, like, if you offer options, like even our own options, they somewhat need to work, right? And some options are simply bit rotten, even in T2, which is why I built here this minimal and minimal target, because the problem is I have also not built live ISO, right? So what triggered me here a little bit is like, do they build live ISO? I didn't even test it yet. And this was, of course, nicely working 15 years ago. 15 years ago, we released live ISO. Live meaning directly bootable and stuff, which is also what actually earned me some Archivista contracts back in the day, 15 years ago, when Archivista, the Swiss document archiving company, used T2 Linux, and my consulting and stuff and work implementing stuff there back in the day. And because they've chosen T2, because T2, back in the day, T2 Live ISO works amazingly, right? Like, how do you win contracts? Because your stuff actually freaking works amazingly, right? And so it's probably not working anymore. So despite, so I've no, whatever that is, the live ISO will anyway not work. So that is here. So, and the problem is a little bit like a lot of these options are not the most tested, right? This is, of course, it is with even Microsoft and Windows, not every option works, because even at Microsoft and Windows, they can't test every option they have in their UI. And even more so on open source projects, even in our own, right? I leave them there. I could remove them there, but I leave them mostly there for your baseline availability that you have already some stuff. I probably should test some more options more, and maybe we even should, we probably should have some combination. We built so many combinations like x86, 64, glibc, Muslin stuff. Maybe we actually should release, and they're all classic installer these days because that is what I mostly use. And maybe we should actually release at least one of those, maybe even the mainstream. Like, maybe we should. The problem is, of course, then everyone, like, you release all ISOs the same except one live desktop. It's causing that's the problem, right? The more options, the more confusion, the more stuff is broken. Yeah, but maybe at least instead of building so many build variants, which many like Clang and Musel we also need to test, that it. You see, you test everything with install and then like, but I want a live CD. It's like, okay, let's see what happens. So I've not built this in probably 15 years or so, or 13 years. Let's see what happens. So this will be broken in some way, shape or form. Whatever, it could even rm-rf my whole system. Like their flus ppl, why is console syntax unexpected then? Profile D console, what is it even doing? Overlaying rootfs with target, generic rootfs. Okay, that's errored out. AMK squash fs. Okay. Which even is that here? Ah, right, this is, okay, word unexpected. This, what? Exactly, so this is maybe, I don't know why it is running that. Maybe. Okay, so they're not in GZIP. So there are multiple issues as expected. So there was so much change the last 15 years. Obviously, this stuff doesn't fit anymore. Now probably is the more interesting part of actually fixing that. Which might take another. Okay, we have some people tuning in. As usual, share, like, subscribe if you want to show a token of appreciation, or Patreon, YouTube super thing and stuff. So yeah, does it still make sense? Yeah, probably MK squash is probably still one. So how do we want to fix that? Maybe This is probably not even, I mean, I could simply install it in the system. Maybe let's try some stuff. If you're new to the stuff, that's, by the way, a permanently compressed read-only file system, also for embedded use. Because the other thing we also need to fix, back in the day, the overlay FS, like write overlay, like tempfs, in-memory tempfs, write overlay file systems were different. Initially there was UnionFS that never made it upstream, probably mainstream. Then there was AuFS, yet another Union file system, because you can never have enough. And now I believe some other overlay FS became mainstream. So we also, like, there's so much to do, right? I mean, yeah, you could argue maybe these are too many options. But that's also the thing, right? You need sponsors, which is why I turned to YouTube. Like, you need so many resources to keep such a huge project. That's because it's not just one Linux distribution. It's like a flexible Meta Linux distribution build kit that can build everything except when 15, 13 years are in between and stuff is broken. By the way, what do we even have here? Is that... Okay, this is... not really sure why 20... Not really sure why this error out like this. Anyway, mksquashfs. So let's test two things. I want to test the next. Was it this one here? EDR. So the question is, do we need this? And the other question is, do we not have squashfs in there? Apparently not. Is this even enabled for? So the best thing would be to have, okay, it is toolchain. Oh, this is funny, this also should have a 9 there. Oops, a 9 there. I think I checked this recently, because sometimes the stuff is super outdated because they moved to stuff, but I believe because I actually tested something with squashfs some month ago, I believe I checked if they even have 4.6. 4.6 is the latest. So then let's add it in there too. So I guess we add this to target generic package selection minimal 2. So yeah, we have some other, yeah. It is what it is. I mean, one tiny little squashfs tools does not change the build time too much. Maybe it gets a little bit much. Maybe we could move non-essential stuff out of minimal, I guess. Also, I'm not sure, did this build, or I have a feeling this didn't. Or did it? Did this really build that fast? Apparently it did build this, maybe this builds this fast. Okay, now it creates a, okay, apparently it did build so fast and that works, good. It's of course more scalable to have this in the freshly bootstrapped thing there. Oh, 728 megabytes, that's actually not that super bad. So it's better to freshly build this bootstrap than having that in, actually I'm surprised it builds that much. So we are somehow scrolling over this error, and welcome everyone. So we still have that here to tackle. InitRD, why does that, so that is set standard. Okay, so somehow we are extending that wrong. Why does setcat say not in gzip format? Ah, setcat, not set standard cat. Okay. Target, let's see. Comment there. If someone wants to, could someone make an abstraction layer that allows Wayland desktop to be with X11 drivers to use GPU? Or, I have no idea. This stuff is probably not older in these. Does not. I mean, everything is possible, but some stuff is also so Frankenstein and alien that it's maybe not even worth it. So yeah, set standard. Let's see where we extend that. So it's set cat somewhere maybe. Where is that? Maybe in share. Maybe. Oh no. Where should that be? This should be in. This must be in some. Also, why is there PPL? Where is that creating? It's probably in. There must be. Oops, what did I do? Maybe I somehow cancelled it. It must be something in our target share maybe. Here probably. Yeah. So somehow. Yeah, for initRD, what do we do here? Do CPIO grep RM? This is just deleting duplicate files, I believe. So, yeah, theoretically we probably need a function then, but for now we can just, what is the name, set standard cat? And so I basically, oops, this is also the wrong build because I'm somehow, yeah, here. Of course, we could wait for other people to do the work, but also PPL somewhere was this. Where is that coming from? Is this even selected PPL? Or is this hard coded? Config minimal. No, PPL is why is PPL? Is this even used? Or is this some vintage dependency thing of? That is also the win-win, right? The more I look at this, the more decade old. Happens also in the Linux kernel, right? People didn't touch the floppy drive for 15 years. Bugs. People didn't test SJO2 frame buffer in the Linux kernel. Bugs. Sun TCX doesn't even work. Even more bugs. So PPL. Maybe this is a leftover of not even used dependency anymore. Package, generic package. So. I would need to, yeah, we will see the next time we fully rebuild it. Welcome everyone. So, not really sure where that is. Okay, generic. Target defined files. Okay, so the way, so this is just that targets can expand that. So share initRD. So that's simply oh, by the way, compressing I don't even, so we compress here some initRD. So this also should, I mean, we probably need some global define for initRD compression, because if we ever change it again, what do we even have here? T019, T019. The next thing was actually find build route. There is some other init. This probably also needs modernization. So basically, we don't want to use this custom coded thing. What we want to do instead is reuse our others. So I guess so much, yeah. I mean, changes, decades worth of changes. It is what it is. And that's what software maintenance is about, right? If even we wouldn't change something, you've seen what happened. I don't touch KDE GNOME for a decade and it's obviously totally outdated. Build root, mount, home name, CPIO. I slightly wonder where that find came from. Next, we will of course boot it in QEMU. We also still have some overlay stuff to adapt. First, so ideally, and also win-wins, right? We found that PPL is probably always built, although we don't need it, and other stuff. So there's always something. So here's target generic, so overlaying. We probably can just search for that. Build image, so init rd. Here is that probably we simply check for if exists, then do that. Or, I mean, we could also change the copy and source from. I mean, if it, also maybe this is too error prone because this is optional. Like maybe we don't change the other. Maybe we should actually change the other to 1 then or something. Otherwise, if we would just change that, I can already see the next time I waste an afternoon, or well, not an afternoon, but I waste half an hour of figuring out why something doesn't overlay. Okay, so that is that thing. Here's also profile. Here, this is how this error. So we need bash here. I'm not sure why I don't have bash here. CTC profile X, not really sure. Okay, there is the other shell thing. So we're getting closer. And I mean, I was considering, actually this is also why I tested SquashFS like half a year ago. But the problem is our ISOs will become twice as large because SquashFS compresses one file at a time. The compression, the whole file system compression is twice as large, half as good, or whatever you want to call it. So our ISO is like, if let's say our ISO is 800 megabyte or so, it becomes 1.6 gigabyte. And I don't like, it's a little bit too much for my taste. We will see, but maybe out of principle, to show the flexibility, I rather have, like 6 months ago I came to the conclusion, I rather have 35 the same images of normal install images, which is what I personally use the most and install the most anyway. So maybe showing the flexibility and making one entirely different, like live CD thing for mainstream x86-64 only is the best, like having classic install for most people and mainstream live CD testing for others is maybe the best of both worlds, and keeping the code path is tested here, as you see. So it does something. I don't have the highest hopes that this works. But let's see. I don't even remember. Probably you had to create ISO minimal. It's 15 years since I've done that. Not a valid min. Okay, best without typo. So okay, this doesn't look too bad. I don't have the highest hopes that this will just boot, to be honest. Like even after this is just the initial first round of fixes, right? So congratulations, we got an ISO build. It will probably not work. How many working copy changes did I accumulate? Over 100? 128. Yeah, shall I subscribe to keep this open source fixing robot alive and healthy and so next we need to check, let's quickly check what we generated into the ISO. That is build minimal here and toolchain ISO. So here's some EFI stuff. Here's the live. So live squash is a whole system. That looks relatively okay. So the init RD, I don't know, is this regenerated? We need to check what precisely we generated on the init RD, because it was supposed to regenerate something. So the next thing, what we definitely, I mean, we could test boot that. I don't have the highest hopes, but let's maybe see. Let's use our run QEMU thing here with CD-ROM minimal. Do we have spice? You know what? Let's comment that out. Minimal ISO. And yes, I could add argument handling to that another day. For the live CD, we don't need that many core. Okay, you know what? Let's not change everything. Doesn't matter. I have enough memory. So, what? Okay, QXL. I have QXL on, and not really sure if. Okay, let's maybe not make more experiments. I had this thing, but I believe this worked. Okay, let's see what happens. Run that. It changed that to live. Hey, does this work? All right, it's probably on. Maybe it works. It's just on the spice. Okay, let's boot with console tty as 0. This will probably not work unless, of course, it will not work. So this did not replace the init RD. I expected already something like that. Yeah, let's, how long do we live stream? Yeah, of course, 45 minutes. I need to be a little bit smarter, grow this channels better. So basically that is how you, one thing, like you debug what's going on, what doesn't fit anymore. Being a little bit smarter here business-wise. Moving over to Twitch, because I need to build up Twitch also as an alternative, and so on. Actually, where do we have that? So let's continue fixing this. Twitch here, wherever, that one maybe. And yeah, let's there, move over there, and so this didn't copy and paste. Because actually we also need to significantly, this is also dashboard, that's the wrong one. Because otherwise people don't like so many long YouTube videos anyway, and we built an alternative. Copy and paste difficult. This also somehow did not, why does this not? There's always something with this stuff. Yeah, that's yeah, getting there. Yeah, okay. Let's finish this on Twitch just because. Hello. 3 times the copy and paste charm. Can we finally have that there? I hope you enjoyed. So that's already something. The other thing is finishing the initID integration and testing all the other stuff. Now I get a phone call. Anyway, so see you over at Twitch in 10 minutes and finish the initID live CD integration. And don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and maybe Patreon, all the other good stuff.